26, 2016. We will rise for a minute of silent prayer and followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Now the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, for the born and unborn. May I have a motion that we approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The mayor's report, the mayor was in Nevada this week for the meeting.
National Shopping Center Convention, yes.
Meeting. And then he was going to take a few days off. Are we going to still do the American Corps presentation tonight?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who is doing this?
Lori Saul, our stormwater coordinator, is going to introduce that to the board.
Well, thank you, Lori. Thank you.
You're welcome. Short people have to move the mic. Yeah, so most of you probably know that every year the town of Farragut has an AmeriCorps service member that comes and works with the Stormwater Matters program for about 10 months. They usually start in August and complete their terms towards the end of June. And every year we've had our AmeriCorps member do a presentation to the board at the end of their service term to summarize all of the wonderful work that they've done to help our program. So tonight we have this year's member, Joseph Convica, who is going to be presenting his work to you today. So.
No, he was here.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for letting me present to you today. I'm an AmeriCorps member, and I'm going to tell you a thing or two about myself. Actually, Mayor McGill invited me to speak here today, and for that I am thankful. Perhaps I'll be able to thank him later. But for everyone else, thank you for being here. It means a lot to me. My name is Joseph Convica, that's with a K, and I am not originally from Knoxville. I'm originally from Durham, North Carolina, where I attended Durham School of the Arts, and I learned a lot about music, to play music, to write music, about music theory, how music works. And that is why I got a degree in environmental science at Western Carolina University, which is in Cullowhee, North Carolina, which is approximately 2.5 hours away from here, an hour away from Asheville, an hour away from civilization. I fit in pretty good there. It was pretty great. After that, I decided to serve with AmeriCorps, with CAC AmeriCorps on the Knox County Stormwater Water Quality Team, and I did that for a year, and it was good, but I want to try something different. I want to expand my skill sets, and so I decided to serve with the town of Farragut, and here are a couple of things I've been able to accomplish since this August. I was interviewed a lot this year for a lot of the projects I'm going to talk about today. Publications include the Tennessee Town and City, Community Television of Knoxville, the Knoxville News Sentinel, and the Farragut Shopper. And I will talk about some of those projects in further detail. Starting off the year, unsupervised, I did a lot of work in the outdoor classroom. With local Girl Scouts, we installed plants and have been harvesting from those plants since August. Since August, we've been able to donate over 25 pounds of food. That includes when we had all of the snow that killed everyone's plants except for ours, so that was pretty great. In addition to the community garden in the outdoor classroom, we've had 2 Eagle Scout projects, and we've had a senior project featuring a student from Farragut High School and a UT professor. So a lot of great things going on at the outdoor classroom. Recently, we've been installing row cover cloth, trellises, and drip irrigation so we can have a better community garden. The town of Farragut is a member of the Water Quality Forum, and as a part of our permit requirement, we're required to do a lot of outreach and education, which I've done over 38 hours of, including the Rain Barrel Workshop, which some of you may have attended, last week here in Farragut. Attending various meetings, attended the House and Garden Show last February, and at Waterfest, which is where we take over 800 small children and we teach them successfully, I'd like to add, which you can see in this photo over here. It was a lot of fun. I also did a lot of work with Earth Fest, which is an Earth Day celebration that has been held annually for the last 17 years. It's my favorite event. And in addition to attending core committee meetings, I was on the education committee and the youth and area committee. Through the education committee, I helped build these Enviro characters. We actually were able to take some of our old Enviro characters and make them better, make them more mobile, make them less hot for people inside them when the sun is out. You can see me dressed up as a mushroom because I'm into that. And in addition to that, when I wasn't dressed up as a mushroom, I wrote a tree grant earlier this fall, and so we got over $500 worth of trees, and we gave most of them away. The only trees we didn't give away were used to plant in a riparian buffer zone. This is fancy talk for we put plants beside a stream, and we did this with another local Girl Scout group. But in order to do that, I had to clear out hundreds of pounds of invasives, as you can see in the photo. In the bottom left, in the middle, you can see the Girl Scouts planting our trees. On the right, you can see the trees labeled with what species they are, and a sign talking about why riparian zones are important to maintain. And you can find that on Grigsby Chapel Greenway. As a part of permit requirements for the town, I perform visual stream assessments and dry weather screening. By the end of this year, I should have approximately 3 miles of streams assessed, and thus far I have assessed 17 outfalls, 11 of which were greater than a foot in diameter, and one of which had flow after 48 hours of no rainfall, which is suspicious, but after testing it, it may have been flow from a drainage issue. So no one's breaking the law that I'm aware of. Well, maybe next time. I've also done a lot of inlet labeling as per permit requirements. I checked 96 storm drains to make sure they had a label on them, which some of them didn't. So when that happened, I put another one on there. And they're nice and new. They look super fresh, letting people know that only rain goes down the storm drain. We're into it. I also did some work with the Tennessee Stormwater Association, in particular with their event with the Development Symposium. A lot of our town engineers and surveyors attended this symposium. People from all over East Tennessee attended. And those were 2 10-hour days of checking people in, making sure everyone had a name tag, making sure people paid and got all the information that they needed for their classes. And when I wasn't doing that during the day, I would attend some of the classes myself, and I learned a lot about solar energy. I'd like to talk about more about it, but we have other things to do. I also performed a waste audit at McPhee Park to assess how often people recycle their recyclables and how well they do it. We were able to get 97 pounds of trash and recycling collected, and about 14 of the recyclables were recycled properly, which is actually pretty good. This doesn't include like halfway filled like water bottles where we had to like pour out the water because that's not really trash or recycling. Does this include having cake and Barbie dolls? There must have been a birthday party, and well, there was only one Barbie doll, but it was our favorite find. Also found a lot of plastic water bottles, stuff like that. Speaking of recycling, I became the recycle head of the town hall. I manage all of the recycling. So far, I have taken out 2,200 pounds of recycling. By the end of the year, I should have 2,700 pounds, which is the weight of my Kia Forte, which is pictured on the right. So that is a lot of recycling, and is actually the most recycling an AmeriCorps member has collected thus far. We'll see how it goes next year. And another project that I worked on was 1 year down the drain, Turkey Creek, which is a pilot program that the former stormwater coordinator, Jason Scott, started that I recruited volunteers for and managed volunteers for. So far, we have cleaned up 0.3 miles of streams, and out of that, we've gotten 250 pounds of waste out of those streams. This includes baby strollers, this includes old bed frames, it includes like large buckets of, I don't know what they're used for, but we took them out, I can tell you that. And you can actually find all those things on display at the outdoor classroom. We actually have another cleanup coming up on June 11th from 10 to 12 in case you need something to do, which you should. You can find out more at oneyeartc.com, which is a website that I manage and update. And the places we've cleaned up thus far are by Grigsby Chapel Road and by the Wentworth Greenway. I also implemented and created a lot of designing tasks. One of the things I'm particularly proud of is the yearbook that CAC AmeriCorps has made this year, which out of the 21 years we've been at a Corps, we haven't made a yearbook, so we figured we should probably write all this stuff down and print it out and give it to everyone we know. So that's what we're working on. I also created a couple of signs. Here's a sign that you can still find at the outdoor classroom talking about the display pile of trash and recyclables that we've pulled out of the streams through 1 year down the drain, Turkey Creek. So I've also done a lot of work with other AmeriCorps members. What some people don't realize is once you have one AmeriCorps member, they are required to assist other AmeriCorps members with different events and different projects that they work on. So, and I had a lot of AmeriCorps member assistance with different projects I worked on, but I also helped with other people's projects as well, and they were a lot of fun. Here is at Celebrate Your Parks Day, an event that was held by Parks and Leisure Services. They help people set up tents and give away light bulbs and talk about water quality at the outdoor classroom. It was quite the event. Here are some volunteers that other AmeriCorps members I worked with on a 1 year down the drain Turkey Creek cleanup. That was an all AmeriCorps volunteer event. It wasn't intended to be, but they came out and they helped me, and I sincerely appreciate it. Here is when we were in Nashville. It was during a Mayor and County Day recognition for national service, and there were actually a couple of notable people there, including Nashville Mayor Megan Barry, Livingston, Tennessee Mayor Curtis Hayes, and Joplin, Missouri Council Member Melody Colbert-Keene, who was actually in the area pretty recently for a Women's and Municipal Government spring conference. I didn't run into her. I was busy. Some other things I did was work with Keep Tennessee River Beautiful and Keep Sevier Beautiful, where me and 52 other volunteers cleaned out 6,127 pounds of trash out of the Tennessee River. You can see me in what used to be a trash can, and now I live there. I'm just kidding. We threw it away. But that was fun. That was good. In this photo, this was during the MLK Junior Day of Service, a required event for AmeriCorps members. In this photo, you will see AmeriCorps members. You also see teenagers volunteering through restorative justice, a volunteer program through Knoxville Juvenile Court. And you'll also see field director for Senator Bob Corker, Miss Jane Jolie. We are grading a trail that was abandoned by Dogwood Elementary, but now we are making it so much better. And it looks even better than it does now in that photo. I'm also wearing a crazy hat. Let's continue. So I also did a lot of recycling during orientation. In this photo, we went to Knoxville College, and they had a library with a lot of books that didn't have relevant data in them, or they just weren't books being used anymore. So we recycled all of them, recycled a bunch of different furniture, making sure it gets reused again, cleaning stuff out, just making the space so it can be used once again for something wonderful. And here in this photo is during Make a Difference Day, where we collected supplies for South Carolina flood victims. In addition to that, we conducted street cleanups and some invasive removal. I am not in this photo, but you can see former Town of Farragut summer intern Alyssa Watson. She's currently an AmeriCorps member with Goodwill Industries. Here's an event where I was taking pictures, except for this one, someone else did it, but I was volunteering with different coordinators to take pictures and move furniture around and just making sure things got done at Snow Day, which is an event held by Beardsley Farm. It's a community farm in downtown Knoxville. They grow food for people who need it, and that was cool. I liked it. All right. This was at Jackson Square in Oak Ridge, where Oak Ridge Stormwater AmeriCorps members and Knox County Stormwater Water Quality Team members and myself help install plants in a rain garden. That was a very cold November morning, but we were able to do that, and that was pretty great. So I've done a lot of work this year, and I couldn't do it without the town of Farragut. I started off this year as exhausted and tired and nervous, and now I feel much happier. I'm still pretty reserved. I don't think that's going to change, but I am honored to serve with the town of Farragut as a AmeriCorps member. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank
here.
you, sir, very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone on the board want to ask any questions, or anyone from the audience?
Where will you go after this when you're done?
I will stay right here, not literally right here. I'll leave the room at some point, but I do plan on staying in the Knox County area.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we've had AmeriCorps members now, is it 5 years? Do you know, Lori? 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
We've had several.
I am number 5.
Yeah.
That's
So
what Jason tells me.
it's been a great program for the town. Certainly, obviously, the AmeriCorps members get some great experience and stuff as well, but each of them brings their own identity to the program and what their interests are, and really makes it their own. And with Lori's help, really get a great program together every year. So it's a great job, Joseph and Lori both. You did an outstanding job this year for us. We really appreciate
Pictures
it.
are great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Good.
it.
Thank you very much.
Do you want this clicker? Okay. Thank you.
For the other part of the mayor's report, I'd just like to tell you that as president of the Women in Municipal Government, we had our summer conference here in Knoxville this last week. We had probably about 60 women from elected officials from all over the United States, and we held it at the Holiday Inn at the Sun Sphere, and I believe it was a success. And Louise, you want to make any comments?
It really was very interesting, and a diverse group of women. We got to laugh a lot, but I also learned a lot about how different communities work, and they were very impressed that we do so well without a property tax. So
Yes, right. They couldn't believe it.
they were in shock, really.
And they loved our city. They want to come back, so that's good. I hope they do. Allison, anyone signed up for the Citizens Forum? Oh, well, good.
Oh, there's a blue card right there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Come to the podium. Just give us your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name's Mike Mitchell. I live in Brixworth on Brixworth Boulevard, and I was in the MPC public forum last week, and this is sort of a follow-up to that. I've asked Mark a couple questions I still haven't found the answer on. We have new use on review rezoning signs. Are those voted on by the MPC? Are they voted on by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen? Do any of you all know the answer to that?
Mr. Mitchell, is the question of a rezoning that's in and around your neighborhood?
No, this is about the signs.
The actual sign.
We've changed the signs that we had for 30 years that everyone knows, and they look completely different. So I'm trying to understand sort of the chain of custody. How did Mark explained that our old signs had been stolen. We didn't have any more. There was a mistake on those signs of some kind, so there was a change to incorporate the new town branding. I just want to know, did the MPC vote on that, or did the Board of Mayor and Aldermen vote on it?
Administrative
Okay,
item that
fair.
we take care of.
I just wanted to find the answer
Sure.
to that. So I think that Alderman Pavlin has probably seen it, but the other alderman, have you seen the new sign?
Yes.
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, I didn't, says the same thing the old one said, only it's got a different brand on it.
No, actually it doesn't. It says, notice, action to be taken by the town of Farragut related to this property. Visit our website for further details. It doesn't say use on review. It doesn't say rezoning. It's completely invisible in bright sunlight. I came to the MPC because I was concerned about a rezoning down the street from where I live. I felt that people didn't have proper due notice. Mark pointed out to me something I was unaware of, that there is no legal requirement for a sign, only for a notice in the newspaper. Well, I drove by this sign for quite a while. I thought it was a beautification award. I couldn't read it because it was on the walking path. It was unreadable on the street. So I asked the town attorney for his opinion. He wasn't able to get back to me by this evening. I asked the Knox County MPC, well, what is the requirement? Is there a state law? And what they told me is the only requirement is that it be noticed in the paper. This sign has spent more time on the ground than it has upright. I think that we can do better than that. I complained last week about, oh, and by the way, I brought your sign back. It had fallen down and couldn't get up. So I'll leave it with you all if you can restrike it, because we still have a second reading. We can do better than this. And the town branding, I'm not a fan, but I ask that these be exempted. These should be like the old signs. They should be readable. Our old signs were black with white print. MPC member Alderman Povlin also noted last week, this probably isn't great for a sign if you want it to be read because of the contrast problems. Well, the reason I'm here is I brought pictures last week. And if you will look at the YouTube on the town website, you'll see me talking to temporary chair Ed Whiting for 5 minutes before the meeting, asking for those pictures to be put on the big screen so the people could see them. He said over and over, I don't understand what good that would do. I think if a citizen comes and has an issue and wants to show you something about a town sign, that we should see the pictures. I didn't bring the pictures tonight, I brought the sign. We can do better than this, and I hope that we do. But these need to be like the old signs. And by the way, these are on those little wire hangers. When the wind blows, they just topple over. Now, I understand that this is like a temporary, a work in process. I'm just urging you to go back to the old signs. And, I just don't think that notice in the newspaper on a rezoning is adequate. It may meet the letter of the law, but I think we're better than that. So I encourage you to perhaps think of an ordinance to make that the law here. But this sign needs to be fixed on Turkey Creek Road, where we still have a second vote on the rezoning. And by the way, the residents and the MPC and site, we all worked that out satisfactorily, so I think it's all good. Do you have any questions?
Comments?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand exactly what the problem is. Action to be taken, use on review. Is it
No,
with
it
the
doesn't.
language
It
or
doesn't
what?
say use on review.
I know. I'm saying, is there a problem with the language?
Yes.
Action to be taken.
I think it ought to say use on review or rezoning or something. I wonder how many people, if they could see it and could read it, are going to go to the website. I mean, shouldn't the sign say what it's about? It's a two-step process.
I rode past the one on Smith Road immediately, first time I'd ever seen it. Okay, I get it. I mean, so what would you like it to say?
I'd like to go back to the old signs that were very sturdy, couldn't be blown over by the wind. We'd used them for 30 years. Everybody knows what they are. I'm not sure that everything needs to go to the new town branding. Maybe things, in bright sunlight, even if this was at the street, the contrast is horrible. And I will email each of you pictures, and you can see that. It's just, I mean, I understand that it was temporary. I'm just saying, let's go back to what we were doing.
I'm not tied to any particular verbiage, but when I drove by the Smith Road, it was the first time I'd seen the sign. And I do, if we're going to stick with that, I believe the letters need to be bolded and bigger. They do fade in the light. I do believe that the signs are there for, I don't know, how long do we put the signs out for? Usually they stay out for how long? Whole process. They probably need to be mounted a little in a more stable manner. I don't disagree with any of that. I don't know that there's a particular verbiage that, I know that you wanted to just have a general sign so that we could use it in a variety of ways. So verbiage to. Yeah.
Mark, why don't you, excuse me, why don't you come to the podium so the public can hear it, please? Thank you.
Now, what we were trying to do with these signs, which, as Mike says, are not really required, we've always done that in the town for rezonings. In addition to sending letters to property owners that abut properties that are being requested for rezoning. But what we were trying to do was make the lettering a little bigger on the sign, and the sign a little bigger with the logo. What we've learned, and we do appreciate Mike's input on this, is that it probably is actually too big, and we may need to, and we do need to thicken the lettering. And what we're going to do is come up with an amended sign and take it to the VRB and get their input. And certainly, Mike, I'll make sure he's aware of that, so that when we order signs in the future, it hopefully will address, what his comments are.
That sounds good.
So.
Will that be agreeable to you, Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, that's fine. I want signs that are sturdy and
Legible and.
right. Well,
Yeah.
and I would, my preference would be that there's not a two-part process. I just don't know how many people see a sign then go to the website.
They don't. A lot of people see the sign and they call. And
Well-
that's what's happened this
Well,
week with
that's
that
not
sign.
that that's not that bad.
And that's what it's.
As long as they
supposedly.
do something.
Yep. I mean, that sign went up. I spoke to Ashley today because I saw the sign and I thought, what's going on? Because I didn't know what was going on. And she said, yeah, we've gotten a lot of calls on that. So it is effective. People see it and they've noticed it. The situation where over on Turkey Creek, it seems so, I know that it was originally placed in one location and the mowers come by and then they probably don't put it back where it was originally placed. And
Well, it was on the walking trail initially. That's why I thought it was a beautification award, which, I should have, there was really no reason for an award at that spot. But that didn't dawn
we
on
won't
me.
talk about that, but.
Well, no, it's a
I
farm.
understand.
But
But
anyway.
that's what and there was a change in sign, obviously, so that's a.
Well, no, that's fine. I just wanted to understand what the process was. And I think we'll come up with something better. And that was really what my intent was, that citizens have the right to notification. So I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Next order of business is the approval of the minutes of April the 28th. Do I hear a motion that we approve them as written?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved as read, as written. Under ordinance, the first ordinance is public notice and second reading. Ordinance 16-03, an ordinance to rezone parcels 18 and 18.01, tax map 162, located at 1006 McPhee Road, approximately 6 acres, from R1 to R2. John and Teresa Kirkland, applicant.
This property is currently 2 existing parcels. You can see there in red. on McPhee Road, just south of the roundabout. And the request is actually a very minimal change from current zoning. The applicant is wanting to subdivide that property, and basically there's not sanitary sewer available currently on that portion of McPhee Road, which was kind of a surprise to me. And there's a requirement in the current zone of R1 that you have to have at least 1 acre if sanitary sewer is not provided. And so in order to subdivide it further, they're requesting to go to R2, which only requires a 25,000 square foot minimum lot size if sanitary sewer is not available. So that's the main reason for the request. As you can see, there is R2 currently to the east of the property, so it's not really inconsistent with surrounding zoning. When this was considered by the Planning Commission in January, it was unanimously recommended for approval. That was then presented to you all in March and was approved on first reading with the condition that there was an existing barn. They had been using that property for agricultural purposes, and that type of use for that property would not be permitted in R2, the requested zone. So part of the reason why it's taken a while to get to this point for second reading is they had to remove a barn and sell their horses, so which they have accomplished both of those. So now it's before you for second reading, and the motion is to approve this on second reading, ordinance 16-03.
Are the applicants here tonight? And if so, would you like to make any comments, sir? Okay. Any comments from the board?
No change from the first reading.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion we approve ordinance 16-03 on second reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Second, all those in favor to approve ordinance 16-03 on second reading?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, business items. Public notice and approval of contract 2016-12, auditing services, 3-year professional services contract.
Yes, ma'am. Ingram, Overholt, and Bean have been the auditors for the town since 1996, and during this time, the town has earned their Certificate of Achievement in Excellence in Financial Reporting, also known as the CAFR, every year. The CAFR was established in 1945 by the GFOA to encourage and assist state and local governments to go beyond the minimum requirements of generally accepted accounting principles. Local governments are to prepare comprehensive annual financial statements that promote the spirit of transparency and full disclosure, and then to recognize individual governments that succeed in achieving that goal. This contract is for auditing services for fiscal years 2016, 17, and 18. The contract will not affect the current budget due to the work beginning following the year end. The proposed professional services fees for the 3 fiscal years are 2016, $13,900, 2017, $14,350, and 2018, $14,800. Since this contract falls under the professional services provision in the TCA, an RFP is not required for the approval of this contract. The motion is to approve the contract 2016-12 auditing services 3-year professional services contract with Ingram, Overholt, and Bean.
Any comments from the board?
20 years, that's a long time. You guys having a party?
Make a motion that we approve contract 2016-12, auditing services 3-year professional service contract with Ingram, Overholt, and Bean for fiscal year 2016, $13,900, fiscal year 2017, $14,350, and fiscal year 2018, $14,800. And because they have done such a great service for over the past few years that I've been in office, and I appreciate everything they've done for us. So do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next business item, approval of Farragut 13.1 Half Marathon Special
just going to give a brief overview of this. As you all may recall, this actually will be the third year that the Knoxville Track Club has sponsored the Farragut Half Marathon 5K. This particular run is proposed for October 29th. That's generally about the same time did the other ones in the past. Similar to previous years, they'll be starting and ending. This is actually the half marathon route. They'll be starting and finishing at Farragut High School. They are mostly following the same course as last year, and they can answer specific questions if you have any. They are bypassing kind of the Kingston Pike Campbell Station intersection at the start and going through Village Green before they get back on to Kingston Pike a little further to the west. And then most of the course for the remainder is pretty similar to last year. They will not be going into McPhee Park and instead are going into the Lake Haven subdivision to account for that distance. The course will have 3 aid stations, and my understanding is they're actually planning to start the race at 7:30, which is actually a good thing for traffic purposes. I think the original one that they had here in the town was either 8:30 or 9, and starting it earlier is
It started late.
definitely helpful as far as traffic-related issues and disruption to residents and people that use these roads. There will be some roads that will be completely closed, the same ones as last year: Dixon, Virtue, Allen Kirby, portions of Virtue. And then there'll be some partial closures on other roads. The KTC will be providing all the materials, all the cleanup, all the traffic control. They'll be undergoing a significant public outreach effort, similar to last year. Basically, the staff, recommends approval of the event application, subject to, of course, them reaching out to all those affected individuals, subdivisions, anyone that's along the course in both the half marathon and the 5K. The 5K is mostly in Village Green, so they really need to have a lot of outreach with the Village Green subdivision, because part of the half marathon is in there as well this year. Another thing that has come up with some of the race events in the past, not necessarily KTC, is that we don't allow the use of pavement markings to direct people on the course. So KTC is going to be using small signs and individuals at turning points to direct participants to stay on the course. So this type of request is encouraged in our pedestrian and bicycle plan. It does help showcase the community. It provides for people that are, maybe outside of the immediate area to come to the town and see some of the beautiful landscape that we have in this area. So we're excited that they're back again, but we just want to make sure that the disruption to the people is minimized. So if you have any specific questions, I can try to answer those, and we also have some applicants
I was going to
here.
ask if the event planners are here.
They are. Yep.
Would they like to make some comments? Okay, thank you.
Karen, I'm sorry, I'm going to probably ask you to come up and ask. Go ahead and state your name.
Okay. My name's Karen Tyndall, and you need my address? 11405 Old Colony Parkway.
Karen lives in
I live in
Farragut,
Village Green.
So we're happy that we have someone who's familiar with Farragut. She's the race director. 5K, does it start at the same time as the half marathon?
It'll start, we're coming out of Farragut High School that side, so it starts about 10 to 15 minutes after, so we let the half marathoners clear.
Okay.
And then, so again, we're trying to not disrupt traffic that day.
Yeah, and just get it all done.
Yeah,
at the
get it
same
all
time.
done. So it'd be a 10 to 15 minute delay just for safety to make sure we've got the runners going in the right directions.
Okay. I will say, David Purvis, Allison Sousa, and I met with Christine Altman and Karen to make sure that we are getting the businesses involved as we can and making sure that this is the packet pickups in Farragut, that we're promoting Farragut hotels. So I think we're about to start. This has been a successful race the first 2 years, and of course there's been bumps on the road and a learning lesson, but I think we're about to hit our stride, and I'm excited to see this race continue to grow and to celebrate the heart of Farragut. Of course, with Anytime Fitness, we host the first drink station, which is, they all show up in like a whole mob of 1,000 people show up. You're like, ah! But it is a lot of fun. Everybody's really excited about it. It's I love this race. I really love this race. I love what it's brought to Farragut. I think this is what Farragut is all about, trying to get these kinds of things going. I just think it's a good thing.
Well, I do too, and I'm so happy you selected Farragut to have your race in.
Yeah.
So,
We are too. We're happy to be here.
okay, then I will make the motion to approve Farragut 13.1 Half Marathon Special Event.
Second.
Good, we have 2 seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next business item is approval of contract between TDOT and the town of Farragut for landscaping and maintenance of areas at I-40 exit 373.
Good evening. This is a let's say a dream or something. For over 15 years, I have brought this up numerous times, and we've now come to the point to get y'all's approval. The purpose of this agenda is to approve a contract between TDOT and the town of Farragut for landscaping and maintenance on all sides of exit 373, which is Campbell Station exit there at I-40 station, or I-40 Campbell Station interchange. Just a little bit of background on this one. Last year, TDOT finished up the improvement to the exit ramp with their laser project, and that's what I basically have been trying to piggyback this on for all these years. Every time I bring it up, it was they're going to redo the exit, they're going to redo the exit, they're going to redo the exit. So they're done with that now, and so we met with TDOT at their office, showed them some landscape plans that we had come up with to enhance the beauty of that interchange when you pull in to Farragut. And you'll be able to see it somewhat as you're driving because it's a down slope on all 4 corners. But if you get off at the interchange, you'll definitely be able to see that. And we met with them, and they gave us some things to go through. Contract, and we have to meet certain things, and that's in the contract. And we will also be maintaining the mowing, the weed eating, the litter pickup, the installation of the beds, and then just the overall maintenance. I asked them if we could put irrigation. The answer was absolutely no. So we'll see. The species that we picked. We asked the landscape architect, there won't be water up there, simplify it for us, but still, bring out what we want, to beautify the intersection. And so what we would like to do is, with y'all's approval of the contract, we'll send it off to TDOT. We've got very positive reviews from them of the initial meeting, and also we have sent the contract to them to just do an overview. They said everything looked really good, and what we would like to do is later on in the fall is do a bid. We've got $75,000 in CIP for this year. We're going to roll that over to next year, and we're going to do a reverse. We're going to tell landscaper, this is what size material we want to put in there, and how far what can you do, for that. And so we'll get the most that we can get out of there because the square footage, if you all get off of the exit or get on the exit, if you'll look very carefully, but there's white flags at every on all three corners. The exit of eastbound exit, we're going to have to play with that one a little bit later on because it's got a drainage area that bisects that grass right there, and they wanted us to stay out of the drainage. And so it's going to be a little more of a challenge, but eventually we can find some way to get something in there. But the other three sections, even between the west exit ramp and the marathon station up on that little knoll right there, there's a huge area up there. So just look for the white flags. It'll give you a broad view of the area we're talking about. But what we'd like to do tonight is just ask for your approval of the contract between the town of Farragut and TDOT to do this this interchange landscape project. And if you've got any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
There's not any chance of us getting a sign, is there?
The sign is an absolute no.
What I thought.
I have a
I had
question.
to ask.
What's the time frame once this all gets approved? I know you probably said that somewhere in your time frame for completing this, once it's,
It will be done in the fall of the year.
okay,
So what we want to do is just get it a better plant time.
Yeah.
So that, and so we were wanting to do it, this fall.
okay,
When we do our other tree plantings and things.
okay. I'm going to add a little bit to your dream, because this has been 15 years in the making, maybe in the next 15 years. Because Lovell Road and Watt Road are also entrances to Farragut, I don't know that I would like to see something this extravagant, but something where if this does well, maybe looking at putting at something minimal that replicates some of the plantings here that at Lovell Road and at Watt Road to kind of announce that those are also
I got
entrances to
one little
Farragut.
problem with that.
What?
Neither one of those are in the town of Farragut.
So we can't do anything.
Nope.
We can't even donate it.
We might be able to get permission from somebody, but
It's
Yeah,
hard.
it's-
outside town.
It's
boundaries.
outside town limits. And we need to get this one in the ground.
I understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that this is La La Land that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it is those are entrances to Farragut, and it would be nice if we could kind of give a nod to the fact that you are entering Farragut land.
Yeah. Chris was walking around with me when we were doing the measuring, and all he said every step, this is a lot of mulch. This is a lot of mulch. So.
Well, I really admire and respect you, Bud, for having this dream and for it finally coming to
Well,
fruition.
like I said,
because,
we're trying to
it's
get
a
it
great
started.
idea, because I have traveled to other parts of
Yep.
Tennessee, and you see how beautiful the landscaping is as the exits on the interstates, and it does make a difference.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
David's been sending me pictures for years. Bud, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I said, it's great. Let's just get TDOT's approval, and we'll do what we can do. But, we'll continue our bulb, daffodil, and tulip bulb plantings at this. They're not shown in there. There's some daffodil stuff or daylilies in there, but we'll continue that theme, which we'll keep expanding as we go out up and down Campbell Station Road.
Our new logo is pretty organic looking. I wonder if we couldn't plant bulbs in it.
There are stipulations. I can't use rocks to signify like TOF. I
Right.
can't use plantings to make symbols. I can't paint anything. They were
I'm sure
very
they're
strict on that because we asked that question.
We've asked several times about how we could possibly do it.
Probably lucky they're letting us do this.
Well, this was, when we sat down with them, I was really dreading going up there because I knew we were going to get that no. But this was the most positive, upbeat meeting, and it was 20 minutes. And they had 3 different divisions of people there, and they were just go. It was a yes at every corner. So it was a great meeting with them, and I really think that it'll be really nice when it's
It
done.
will be
so.
when you get finished. Just more work for you and your gang.
It will be this will lay out a tremendous amount of maintenance for us. We're mowing now. We started mowing this year, and that's what we told them. The mowing contractor that usually mows, they only mow the interstate 5 times a year.
Wow.
And we're mowing every 2 weeks. So The week we don't mow Campbell Station, we mow up here, and that was today. They mowed up there today. But just keeping the grass down, just that appearance will look so much better.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but we've been mowing and weed eating up there.
Who is responsible for clearing out, as you're driving along, all the underbrush has been cleared out along the Farragut. You can see where the town of Farragut is on Outlet Drive. Who was responsible for clearing all that out? Have you guys noticed that?
I thought,
Oh, you're talking about along the interstate?
Yeah.
I thought TDOT did that as part
TDOT
of it.
did that?
No, that was done by Furrow,
Okay.
and
They had a private contractor that got approval from TDOT to go
Okay.
out there and do a lot of that grubbing and getting rid of all the undergrowth and several trees, frankly, that they probably shouldn't have. But
should not have. Yep.
that's
Okay.
it's starting to grow back now. You can see the undergrowth getting back up there a little bit.
TDOT's agreement with them is they can cut anything that's 4 inches or less, and they cannot cut any flowering tree.
That's what it says in this agreement.
That's what it says in that agreement.
Did they
also.
take out some flowering trees with that? Oh. I thought it
It's a
cleared
good
it.
thing they did it before the red buds came out. So, but
That's upsetting.
yep.
Any other comments?
Okay, so we have an initial capital expenditure of up to $75,000 to get all this planning and prep work done. What do you anticipate the maintenance on this is going to be annually?
What we'll do after that will be purely, we might have to do some watering to keep the trees, going. The mulch, and then weeding, actually the weeding part of it and mowing. I haven't come up with an actual dollar figure or manpower figure. The mowing right now, and this will take out a lot of the mowing, but the mowing right now, it takes us about 3/4 of a day for one guy to mow everything that he can mow. And then we put 3 weed eaters up there, and it takes them about 3/4 of a day to weed eat, because there's a lot, because of the hills and the slopes we can't get the mower on, there's a lot of weed eating up there.
Yeah.
Will some of that go away with the plantings or no?
The weed eating?
Yeah.
No, we won't put any landscaping on those
Slopes.
steeper slopes
Okay.
because of wash.
Okay. All right.
Well, I can give you a good estimate.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, we're taking it on. And I feel like it's important to put a good foot forward to let people know they've arrived at someplace special. I was just kind of curious what it's going to. We're gonna have to trim those crepe myrtles, and I'm not too familiar with miscanthus and some of the other things there, but I'm sure there's going to be some upkeep trimming.
Yeah, crepe myrtles will have to be trimmed, and that's one of the things that we talked to TDOT about. They don't want those to get out of hand, and so we would be trimming those, in the fall, winter time period. Everything else does not have to be trimmed, so. But I can, and then I'll be at the next 2 board meetings, so I'll kind of get a feel for. We will require they put in. We'll get the beds ready for the contractor. We're going to bring in some better dirt and till in and get it, a little bit better, and then I will require that a weed mat be put down.
Yeah.
To help out to discourage some of the weeds. And we've also started using a product, and I don't promote other people's stuff, but we started using preen. And if you all had never used preen in your landscaping beds, will not hurt your flowers, you ought to start using it. So it's
Mark, I think we'll definitely get you an estimate. Obviously,
Yeah.
this contract and the bid for this won't come up for several months until we get closer to the fall. And by that time, we will certainly have a much better feel for how much time Bud's guys are spending mowing every 2 weeks, because I'm sure they'll be more efficient the longer they do it, the better they get at it. But also, we'll have a better understanding of how many times a year we're going to have to go out there and mulch or trim trees and things like that. That'll cause a little more manpower for those times of year.
Something like that, looking good, and we do want it to look good. It's going to be an ongoing maintenance
Sure.
concern. So, All right. Thank you, Bud.
I move for approval of contract between TDOT and the town of Farragut for landscaping and maintenance of areas at I-40 exit 373.
Second.
All those in favor of this approval of this contract, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Hey.
Thank you very
is
much.
approved. And we thank you for all your work and your endeavors to get this done. It's great. We really do. And now for the town administrator's report.
Vice Mayor and Alderman, I just was able to get back a couple hours ago, in fact, from our annual trip out to Las Vegas at the International Council of Shopping Centers. Had a really good trip out there. Had very good meetings this year with developers, retailers, owners of businesses, and some tenant reps as well about our area, about several sites in our area, looking at both open space and sites that are currently have buildings on them. So. Very encouraging this year. Some good meetings, and we look forward to hopefully getting some of those things going here in the town here as soon as we can.
That would be great. Get some businesses in some of the places that are still vacant. Our town attorney is not here tonight, so
Can I
there's
ask a
no
real quick
report.
question? Is it all over town, or are they kind of focusing still on Turkey Creek, or?
No, we looked at sites all over town,
Oh,
so
great.
it wasn't just that one area.
Well, we're glad you're safely home.
Me too.
If there's no further business to come before the board, we are adjourned.
NPC meetings could be that fast. We were here till 11 o'clock.
I have no idea.
And it was a short agenda?